Estuary News today, a new flood defence project completed in Cleethorpes and thinking about coral bleaching in Hull. And I'll be talking to Phil and Miriam Heppell about mindful women. Good afternoon, welcome to Estuary News this Monday afternoon with Luke Adams. First today, a man has died after being struck by a train at New Clee railway station in Grimsby. The incident happened this morning. Paramedics and the British Transport Police were called to the scene at 6:30. Officers are currently trying to identify the man. The incident is not being treated as suspicious. A new flood defence project has been completed in Cleethorpes. The £1.5 million scheme at the northern end of the North Promenade replaced the timber breakwater, which is 100 years old. Nearly 12,000 tonnes of rock was delivered from Norway to complete the new groin. Some of the rock sizes were up to 4 tonnes in weight. An exhibition in Hull is encouraging audiences to think more about coral bleaching. Bleached is the work of artist Tanya Kovacs and features a series of tanks containing artificially made corals. It's part of Hull's Look Up series of exhibitions for the City of Culture. Hazel Cahern, co-creator of Look Up, says the exhibition is a response to the world's coral bleaching crisis.
So Bleached is actually about bleached coral, and when Tanya first visited the Deep in 2016, the thing she loved the most there was the smallest tank, which was the coral tank. But at the same time, she found out that there was a really serious coral bleaching event worldwide, which threatens the future of coral reefs. So this project is about that. It's drawing attention to that. And she actually used model coral, artificial coral from one of the Deep's exhibitions that was being decommissioned, and she used that to make these beautiful pieces. We want people to appreciate the beauty and the craft in them, but there's information around that explains the background to them about the coral bleaching, and also the fact that this is all linked to the Deep as well and the work of the Deep. The Deep's not just an aquarium, it's a conservation organisation as well. So there's that first layer of, as you say, it's beauty, it's appreciating the beauty, but also understanding what the artist is thinking about and what sort of message she's thinking about when she makes the work as well.
Now, the ever-growing Mind Health are set to open a Mindful Women chat group. To tell me more, I'm delighted to welcome my guest today, Phil Lamb, founder of Mind Health, and Miriam Heppell from Humberside Fire and Rescue Service, who's heading up the group. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the programme.
Hello.
Thank you very much indeed for coming in. First of all, Miriam, why have you decided to get on board with Phil?
So to speak.
Yes.
Well, Phil approached Humberside Fire and Rescue Service quite recently in terms of wanting to highlight mental health, and it was something that we'd been doing a lot of work on internally, specifically really to reduce stigma in our workforce and to encourage more people to come forward and to discuss their issues before it becomes a big problem for them. And Phil and I had a conversation and decided that actually it was probably a good opportunity, because Mind Health were looking to set up a Mindful Women group as well, so we decided to join forces and do it together.
Okay. Is there quite a significant problem within the organisation of people not actually speaking up about their problems?
Well, I think that mental health in the community and across society in the UK is something that is not thought of as something you can discuss. It doesn't have parity with physical health across the health service, and it is a real problem for people. And mental health within Humberside Fire and Rescue is the most significant reason for sickness absence from work. And clearly quite a lot of our staff are in contact with quite traumatic situations relatively regularly. So yes, it is something that we feel is really important.
So it's giving them that platform to be able to open up and talk about the problems they experience in their day-to-day professional life and perhaps their personal life as well.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely.
Phil, you're the founder of Down in the Dog and Blokes United. How great do you think it is that opening this up to women, because obviously Blokes United and Down in the Dog has been exclusively for men? How important is it for women to also speak up about mental health problems?
Well, from day dot, women have expressed, and rightfully so, what about women? And without going over all ground, we started Blokes United and Down the Dog specifically for men, because of the suicide rates in young men. And because it didn't feel right at the time that men could do it, we felt that it needed a woman to head it up, women for women, blokes for blokes. And it just evolved into a discussion, and you always say the best things come to those who wait. I think after our discussions that Miriam was the one that we've been waiting for to head up the Mindful Women in Hull and actually get something going that should have been going several years ago, but we just never had the resources to do that.
I know you finally have. It's getting that off the ground, isn't it? Are you looking forward to getting involved?
I can't wait. I absolutely can't wait. The success that Phil has had in the past with supporting men to feel able to talk to one another about their issues before they become a big problem, and to support one another with getting help when it is a big problem has been phenomenal. And I think it's really, really important that women get the same opportunity, and I'm delighted to be working with Phil to do it.
I wish you all the best with the project.
Thank you.
To you both, do you think there is still a stigma around mental health?
Absolutely.
Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, that was one of the things why we called it Mind Health, because even talking with people who are living with depression, anxiety, they felt that there was a bit of a harshness when you said, I've got mental health problems. And there's that comes through generations. So we said, well, if we actually used a softer language, mind health, you know, how's the health of your mind, etc., then it would kind of like try and chip away at the stigma that is attaching. If you break your leg, you go to, you know, A&E and have it sorted. If something is broken within chemical imbalance, where do you go? We climb up, and that's men and women. And so to make your mind healthy, then this hopefully is the road to recovery for many men and women.
And sometimes that recovery can actually be longer than a broken leg. You know, there isn't a specific time frame on mental illness, is there?
That's quite
Miriam,
right.
are you going to be following a similar pattern to the model What Phil's created, similar kind of group chats and that kind of thing?
Yes, that's right. I mean, obviously, women on the whole tend to like to talk about different things than men, and it's going to be very much led by the women that come along to the group.
Importantly, I have 5 seconds to say the session kicks off September the 6th, 7:30 at the new Central Fire Station in Hull. Miriam, I wish you all the best. Phil, thank you both very much for coming this Monday afternoon.
Thank you, Luke.
Now here's Jack with all the sport.
Hull City suffered their second consecutive defeat in the Championship on Saturday after losing 2-1 away to QPR. Kevin Stewart made his debut for City while Seb Larson started for the first time. It was the Tigers who opened the scoring courtesy of a Jared Bowen goal in the 35th minute, and they held that advantage until half-time. However, the home side levelled in the 74th minute through a Matt Smith header. In the first minute of injury time in the second half, Idrissa Sila bundled the ball home to give QPR the win late on. Leonard Slutsky said it was a very bad result and felt his side deserved a draw at minimum. He added that Sam Clucas was not included in the squad as a move away is close. Today it has been revealed he is subject to the £15 million move to Swansea. According to national reports, Swansea defender Stephen Kingsley is expected to go in the opposite direction. Scunthorpe United got their first league win of the season after beating Oxford 1-0 at Glanford Park. The visitors had a 100% record in the league until Saturday's match. However, in a game of few chances, the Iron had last season's top goal scorer Josh Morris to thank after his strike in the 83rd minute gave his side all 3 points. Grimsby Town lost their second game in a row after losing 3-1 away to Stevenage. The Mariners were 2-0 down by half-time after goals from Danny Newton and Jonathan Smith for the home team. Matters were made even worse for Russell Slay's side when forward Sam Jones was shown a straight red for alleged violent conduct. Stevenage increased their lead moments later through a Ben Kennedy strike. Danny Collins scored a consolation in the latter stages on the sorry afternoon for the Mariners. North Rugby picks up their first 3 points of the season after winning 1-0 away to Blyth Spartans in National League North. Akil Francis was the scorer for the Villagers. On to rugby, and Hull FC's Challenge Cup preparations were dealt a blow on Friday night after going down 48 points to 16 at home to Huddersfield in the Super 8s. Lee Gaskell was the star of the show for the Giants, scoring a hat-trick. Gareth Ellis, on his 450th appearance for the club, went over the try line, as did Jake Connor and Josh Griffin, but it was far from enough for the Black and Whites. Head coach Lee Radford felt Huddersfield had more bite than FC, but believes the loss won't knock his players' confidence ahead of the Wembley final on Saturday. Hull KR picked up another win on Sunday after beating London Broncos 35 points to 30 at Craven Park. KR maintain their unbeaten run in the Super 8s, and head coach Tim Sheen says it doesn't get much better than that. And that's all for the sport.
Thanks very much, Jack. That's it for tonight. As always, if you have a news story you think we should be covering, please get in touch in the usual ways. We'll look forward to hearing from you for any interesting stories that you may have. On tomorrow's programme, Dan will be talking to Izzy Sinclair and Izzy Bealby about a glitter gig in Hull. Coming up next on Estuary Live, the Edinburgh Festival. From all of us on the team, have a great Monday evening.